Hey, Daily Dosers, my name is Chris. I work at the Vista campus in Life Group Ministry. Hey, welcome today to the Daily Dose. Hey, we're in this series where we're talking about because of the cross. And what I want to share with you is because of the cross, you and I are saved. You and I are saved. We are rescued. And what does that mean? Well, I'm looking at Psalm 18 today. Psalm 18. And there's a couple of verses there that I want to highlight and share a little bit of my story over the last couple of years. So Psalm 18, I'm going to start in verse 4. It says, "The cords of death entangled me, the torrents of destruction overwhelmed me. The cords of the grave coiled around me, the snares of death confronted me. And in my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried for my God for help, and from his temple he heard my voice. My cry became before him into his ears." You might be in a season right now where that verse that I started with, verse 4 in Psalm 1, in Psalm 18, is your life. You are experiencing that. You are feeling that. The cords of death have entangled me. The cords of the grave have coiled around me. And I just want to encourage you today that God has rescued you. He's already rescued you. Because of the cross, we've been rescued from death, but we have a God that wants to rescue us in our everyday life. We have a God that wants to rescue us in our everyday situations and relationships, from our thoughts, from actions. We have a God that wants to rescue. But the question is, will you allow yourself to be saved? Will you allow someone to come and rescue you? It means that you are admitting that you can't save yourself. And that's where my story started in 2017, where I had to admit that I couldn't save myself. 2017, I was on staff in youth ministry, and I hit a wall. More specific, I burnt out. I developed chronic depression, anxiety. I started having panic attacks. And it was then in that season of 2017 that I had to get to a point where I had to say, I can't rescue myself. I tried. I did everything I could. To try and avoid stepping away from ministry. But I was so unhealthy and so burnt that I had to step down. The thing that I loved, the thing that I felt God had called me to, wired me for, I had to step away from a ministry, from a team, from students, from a volunteer team, from parents and families, because I had the cords wrapped around me, because I had the snares of death that had confronted me. And in that moment, I cried out. And I remember God and how he came, because that rescue looked a lot different than I thought it was going to be. Let's go to verse 9. It says, "He parted the heavens, he came down, dark clouds were under his feet. He mounted the cherubim and he flew. He soared on the wings of wind. Out of the brightness of his presence, clouds advanced." I just pause on that because that's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. To think about the wonder and the splendor and the power of God, that his brightness, the brightness of his presence made the clouds move. And with hailstones and bolts of lightning, the Lord thundered. He shot his arrows, he scattered the enemies, and with great bolts of lightning, he routed them. And then we get down to verse 16. "He reached down from on high and he took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemy who was too strong for me." And that was where I was at. After 2017, for about 3 years, I entered this process, God's process of redemption and rescue, which I thought was going to be instantaneous. God restored me. God redeemed me. God put me back in ministry where I was. But that wasn't God's plan. And that's not how he rescued me. It actually took years. And so I want to encourage you today that you have a God that not only wants to rescue you because of the cross from death for all of eternity, but you have a God that in this moment, right now, wants to rescue you from whatever enemy you face today. But the question is, will you allow him to be the God that he wants to be in your life and rescue you, which means you're admitting that I've got to give control up to him. God bless you. I hope you have a great day.